Work. Let's work. Work.
We're in the trenches. Work. Breaking down the defensive line.
Work.
From technique and fundamentals
Work.
to NFL and college football analysis. You're listening to Big Dawg Trench Talk.
Work. 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 Let's work.
What's up, Big Dawg? This is Coach Roll, and welcome to another episode of Big Dawg Trench Talk. Thank you for subscribing to Big Dawg Trench Talk, where you know your progress is our success. I do this for one reason and one reason only, and that is to make sure that as coaches and as players, that we are the best dogs in the trenches that we can be. The topic that we're going to discuss today is very important to me. I've experienced this as a coach as well as a player. As a player, there were times when I sat in the film room and I watched film trying to figure out why was I not playing to the best of my ability. There were times as a coach that I would watch my athletes, my dogs, and I would try to reason to figure out why are they not playing to their fullest potential. Well, I think I know the problem. Episode number 5. I found the problem. Big Dawg, you satisfied. Now let's talk trenches. I have taught linemen all kinds of different tricks and schemes and how to be proactive in your pre-snap. And that's another podcast when we'll talk about being proactive in your pre-snap. There are different things that I have discussed with my linemen, and I've done all kinds of drills to have them master those skills, because we know as coaches and as players, we know that drills develop skills. Why do we do drills? Because they develop skills. That's why we do drills. They develop skills. The proper drill will establish and develop the necessary skill. It's important that you have the right drill for the necessary skill. So, but I've done that. I've done all of that. And yet still I've worked with young men that were not productive in the trenches. And I was as creative as I could be. And so here I am as a coach trying to figure out, gosh, how do I get my linemen to be run stoppers, to be, to be persistent and determined to make a play or make a tackle. And I realized that I was fighting against something that was almost impossible to win against. To me, this is a curse word. This is a bad word. This is an enemy of mine. And I realized that I saw it in the nature, or I saw it in the mentality of the guys I was trying to train. And I realized that this thing was in them and it was preventing me from progressing them. And I recognized it as an enemy and as a villain. And to me, it's a bad word. It's an evil thing that was keeping me from progressing them or keeping them from progressing. And I was satisfied. The word satisfied. I'll give you an example. Watching these young men play, this was a long time ago, long time ago. But I always think about this. I watched these young men play, and I know they had loads of potential to be great and to do great. And looked good in the preseason, great summer training, thought things were well, thought they were developed and ready to go. First game came. First game was not what I expected. I didn't like that. I didn't like how they performed. And so we took it up a notch. More drills, quicker, faster, harder, again, trying to make it muscle memory. And it was. And so second game came, same thing, was not productive. So this is what I did, coach. Hear me out. So we circled up, and I took them behind the goalpost, and I needed to have a conversation with them. I needed to stop what I was doing because evidently what I was doing wasn't helping. Something was wrong. And so here we are, and behind the goalpost, and I have them circle, and I stand in the middle. And when I do that, I'm looking in their eyes. And I'm trying to identify their mentalities and their will. Dawg means driven attitude wills greatness. That's the acronym, DAWG. And I didn't see it. I didn't see the will. I didn't see the hunger. And so I'm sitting there looking at them. And I looked in every one of their eyes and I said, oh, I see. You're satisfied. You're satisfied with your production. You're satisfied with being a football player. You're satisfied that you have a jersey on and you get a chance to play in front of people. You're satisfied that you're not being productive. You're okay with that. And I told him, I said, where I'm from, and you look at the guy's eyes across from you, or when you look at your teammates' eyes, you see hunger, you see thirst. You're looking at a young man or a man that has a desire and drive to eat. It's almost like you have two dogs and one piece of meat, and somebody got to eat. And I ain't eaten in 3 months. And when you look at that guy, your teammate, from where I'm from, that's what you see. You see hunger. You see thirst. You see a man that's not going to take failure as an option. That's what you see. You see like their eyes are on fire, what they call the eye of the tiger. You see it, and they in hunt mode. That's what you see. That's how it is where I'm from. And the guys around you are ready to do whatever it takes to eat. It's hunting season. And that's how you know it's time to play some football, because something clicks on the inside of them when you look at them and you know it's time to go to work. These guys have actually had knots in their stomach, and these were knots of hunger pain. And these guys wanted a way out, and these guys wanted more for themselves. They didn't want to be the statistic. They wanted to do more with their lives, and they knew that football was that way. They didn't have a choice. They didn't give themselves a choice. Their will told them to outwill the guy in front of them. Now, they didn't have good technique. They didn't have a lot of great coaching. But one thing they did have was the will to win. They had that. And so I'm looking at my athletes, and as I'm looking at them, you just see this conviction that begins to rise in them. They're convicted because I called them out. I actually was trying to call them out. I wanted to call them out. I wanted to call out satisfaction. And at that moment, they had to make a decision as to what they were going to do. But I told them I wasn't satisfied with the fact that you just playing football. If that's your goal, was to just be a football player and not accomplish anything, let me know so that I can lower my expectation or lead the team, or not coach you as a D-line coach, because you can do bad all by yourself. If I'm going to be your coach, you're going to be one of the best to do it. Let me know what your goal is, because without a goal, you don't have no go. You got no purpose and no drive without a goal. What's your goal? What are you trying to accomplish? Are you satisfied with being blocked, with not making plays, without making tackles? I think I found the problem. Big dog, you satisfied. And there isn't any coach in the world that can feed somebody who's satisfied. I can't feed you if you full. Question is, what are you full on? What's your meal look like? I get to wear a jersey. I get to play football. I'm popular because I play football. It's cool because I finally made it to college football, so I'm good. No, you're not good. What else do you want out of this? Even sometimes you see NFL guys that have arrived and that's it. They're satisfied because their eyes light up when they see their checks, and the drive is gone because their goal was to get there, but to not do anything once they've arrived there. Satisfaction is an enemy of a progressor. Satisfaction is the enemy. It is in constant feud with progress. It's hard to progress when you're satisfied. You can't eat if you're full. And I looked at them, and that's what I saw. I was disgusted by it, and I told them. I told them the truth, and they were convicted because that's exactly what it was. And at that moment, I realized that there was not a drill, a skill, wisdom, coaching points that I could give these young men to get better, because I kept running into a wall called satisfied. It was a very interesting conversation I had, and nobody had anything to say. The next week, watch these young men play. I trained them, did different drills, things that I saw they could tighten up on and do better. But coach, big dog, let me tell you, the next game we played, it was a different group of guys. The way that they came off the ball, the way that they used their hands, the way that they played flat on the line of scrimmage in pursuit, pursuit was great. They were just persistent in what they did, determined in what they did. You saw a different dog. You saw a different animal out there playing within those 4 quarters. It was different because I had broken through a wall. So we had a conversation when I met with them again that Monday. And actually, no, it was 2 weeks after that game. They started picking things up, and they started making a lot of progress in their game. And I said, I went back and said, you guys are playing great right now. Technique's great. doing really good with your hands, your feet placement where it needs to be. And I made some adjustments depending on the athlete, made some different things that I was now tweaking to make them that much better individually. And fast forward, the Thursday walkthrough, young man came to me, couple of them came to me and said, Coach, you remember that conversation we had over there behind the goalpost? And I had kind of forgotten about it. And I said, oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember when we was, talking about you guys being hungry. He said, Coach, we'll never forget that. When you told us that we weren't hungry enough, that's when it clicked. You were right. We were satisfied. And we didn't want to play the game just to be playing the game. We realized to you it meant more than to us it needed to mean that much more. And we did a self-check. We even met afterwards and said, you know what, Coach is right. What are we doing this for? What's the purpose of why we're doing this? And ever since then, our goal was for you to not to have that conversation with us again. That's our goal. Our goal after that day, we talked about it, was for you to never, ever tell us that again, that we were satisfied. And they had an excellent year. They did some fantastic things that season. I was proud of what they were accomplished as a unit. But it took for me as a coach to look them in the eyes and identify that villain. Satisfied. As a dog, you're never satisfied. Never satisfied. Always looking to get better. Always looking to progress. Another big dog proverb from the Big Dog Bible that I always live by is this: date perfection, but marry progress. Date perfection, but marry progress. And to me, that means that I know what it means to be perfect, but I'm committed to getting better. I'm committed. I'm married to progress. Progress is something that I will do every day. Good is not good when better is expected. Learned that from a very wise coach. Good is not good when better is expected. Absolutely. That is good, but it's not good anymore because I'm not satisfied with what I just called good. How can I make good better? Absolutely. That's what makes alignment better. And truthfully, when you talk about stopping the run, if you can't get past alignment being satisfied, it's going to be hard to coach that young man. It's hard to feed somebody who's not hungry. It's hard to feed somebody who's full. How can you teach a man that doesn't want what you're trying to teach him? Can't be greater than his? No, sir. So for me, when it comes to stopping a run, there are a lot of things that are essential and very important on the technical side that we'll certainly get into in more detail. I just wanted to let you know that the bigger problem that I've had to deal with is the attitude, is the desire and the will. Where I'm from, I've had people stand in front of me and prevent me from trying to go where I want to go. You understand? That's see, now you asking for a fight, right? I'm going straight and you stand in front of me and prevent me from going straight. Now, there's a reason why I'm trying to go straight. I'm going straight because there's something I have to do or there's something I have to retrieve, and it requires for me to go straight. And for a man, and I've had this happen where a guy steps in front of me and he's trying to keep me from going straight, that's a problem. And so politely ask, excuse me, can you move out the way? Or I'll try to walk around. And then they refuse to move and they are still in front of you because they want to try to control you. That's not a good situation. I don't know if you've ever been in a fight before, and I was definitely not the person to go looking for him. But the one thing that I didn't like ever is when somebody tried to control me and step in front of me and keeping me from going where I need to go or where I want to go or where I'm supposed to go. I have a problem with that. And so I tell my defensive lineman, you are trying to go straight, and there's a person in front of you that is trying to control you and keep you from going where you want to go. If you were to take this situation and put it into a real life scenario, let's say and I tell them coaches, Big Dawg, let's say you are married and your wife and children are over there and you are going to go with them and somebody gets in front of you, preventing you from going to them. Listen, there is nobody and nothing in the world that would keep me from uniting with my family. There's nothing you can put between me and my house that'll keep me from going to my house. You will wish you had never attempted to do such a thing. Why? Because of my love for my family. And I mentioned this to another athlete. I said, man, listen, I know you love your daughters, right? And let's say your daughters is over there. And as you're walking to go with your children, I step in front of you, preventing you from going forward. Are you okay with that? All of a sudden, the mentality changed. No, I'm not going to let you step in front of me and keep you from being with my children or your brother or your father, whomever you love or whatever it is. The principle and the concept is the same. How can you allow a man in front of you to keep you from going where you want to go? Take that mentality and apply it to football. There's something on the other side of the line of scrimmage that you need, that you want, that you've got to have. And this guy in front of you has the audacity to stand in front of you to let you know that he's going to stop you from getting where you want to go. There is nobody, if I can envision my family on the other side of that line of scrimmage, that's going to stop me from going where I need to go. You're going to wish you had never stepped in front of me and trying to stop me and control me to keep me where I need to go, where I want to go. Change your mentality. Their mentality has to change. It's not okay that I keep getting stopped. It's not okay that that man in front of me is controlling me. That's not okay. And neither will I keep allowing this to happen. So whatever I have to do to make sure this does not happen, you do what you have to do. That's where it starts. That's where progress starts, when you're not satisfied. And when you're not satisfied, that's where you'll begin to see progress. Sometimes progress happens in the absence of satisfaction. Remove satisfaction, and maybe you'll see progress. You're not going to stop me from going forward. I'm not going to let anybody stop me from progressing. I'm committed to that. Try. Good luck. That's my mentality. A driven attitude will always will greatness. As a coach, I'm asking my athletes, are you satisfied with that? Something precious is on the other side of the line of scrimmage, and he keeps stopping you from getting it. What are you going to do? Are you okay with that? I wouldn't be. Make a decision and make it quick. What are you going to do? It takes a special kind of person to play in the trenches. Why I call it the trenches. I love history, and you look at World War I, when we begin to see trenches in play, trenches wasn't nothing to be messed with. Hats off to all my veterans and every man and woman that has ever served this country. The trenches, the things I've read about trenches, never been in one, are things that blow my mind. The things that these men and women have had to deal with in the trenches. But in the trenches, you got to be a special kind of person to not only survive it, but to accomplish and get what you went there for. If you're in the trenches, you have a mission in the trenches. There's something you want to achieve, and it takes a special kind of person that would not be denied, that would not be stopped. You can drill and drill and drill every single day, and you can teach them the best techniques, and everything you could be saying could be right on point. But your enemy is satisfaction. Are they satisfied with not getting better? Are they satisfied with not being great? If that's the case, stop what you're doing and ask them, what do you want out of this? Call them out. Call that sin we call satisfaction out. If we going to strap up and line up, then we going to link up and eat up. That's what dogs do. We hunt and we eat. As a coach, I challenge you to look at your athlete in the eyes. And as a player, I challenge you to look at your dog next to you. And when you look at him, don't say nothing. His eyes should tell you everything. And your eyes should tell him everything he needs to know. And that should be one thing and one thing only. It's time to go to work. Woo, Big Dog, don't get me started, man. Sometimes we take it for granted. If only I can go back in time and play one more rep, one more series, man, I'll play it like it was my last. Coaches, don't let these young men take these reps for granted. And players, don't play with the attitude that there's always another rep. The only thing that's certain is the present. And even that is a gift. That's why we call it the present, because the present is a present. It's a gift. Maximize your gift. Take advantage of every moment you have. And every time you put your hands in the dirt, every chance you get, you go to work. And if you're satisfied, go sit down. Let that hungry man over there plow the ground. Hey, you, go eat up, Big Dog. Go eat. As always, Big Dog, I appreciate your time because I know it's valuable. Thank you for subscribing and listening to another episode of Big Dog Trench Talk. I would also like to thank you for those that have been visiting BigDogFootball.com. Several coaches all across the world have been benefiting greatly from the plethora of content that we have on BigDogFootball.com. We've been receiving several testimonials of athletes and coaches watching their big dogs get better and do great things in the trenches. We appreciate you joining Big Dog Football's mission, which is to make coaches and athletes the very best they can be. Remember, it takes a village to raise one. Let's keep growing the Big Dog Football community and assuring that our young men are tacticians in the trenches. All right, Big Dog, enough talking. Look him in the eyes. See if he's hungry. Strap up and line up. And together, we'll eat up. Stick those cleats in the dirt. And let's go to work.
Let's work.